Bum, bum, bum,
Boom,
bum,
boom,
bum,
boom,
bum,
boom,
bum,
boom. Yeah.
bum, bum,
Boom, boom,
bum,
boom.
bum, 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 bum.
Welcome in one and all. Welcome to the Fantasy Footballers Live Week.
Bum, 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 bum.
Who's watching basketball out there? Are you watching basketball,
Ooh,
Mike?
I watched last night. It was fantastic. We had the Jazz played. Who did they play?
I don't know. I did not
the
watch.
Pelicans. The Jazz played the Pelicans.
I still this is how up to NBA I am. I still feel like it's super weird that the Pelicans are a real team. Like,
yes,
but
they have Zion. They have Zion, and apparently there was something going on. They were limiting Zion's minutes, and they ended up blowing a massive lead. And then we had the Lakers v Clippers, which was, I mean, look, it was sloppy basketball. I'm not gonna lie, but it was still very fun basketball. But the Clippers, Jason, since I'm not sure if you know, LeBron is on the Lakers.
Yes, I am fully aware of that. Yes,
and Kawhi Leonard is on the Clippers,
and I did know that as well.
So
I'm mostly making fun of myself. I know the Pelicans are a team. It's just when you say it, it still sounds weird to me. I don't think I'll ever adjust.
It's a strange name.
I mean, who names a franchise the Pelicans? Like, we're the Peacocks. Here we go. Ooh, terrifying. Welcome in. Bonjour, Foot Clan. We are here to answer all your questions. We will be here for at least 3 minutes, possibly 3 hours. Who knows? I got nothing to do.
I got something to do. It's Friday. That means it's pizza movie night in the Wright household, which reminds me, at some point in this live stream, I will probably be ordering pizza.
Nice. I will help you weigh in. And don't worry, even though I do like a Hawaiian, I won't subject you to that. I know your taste. All right, so should we get to some questions? Or you want to just chat? No questions on this live stream.
I was on yesterday with Andy, and it turned into the hype Edwards-Helaire hour.
Oh yeah,
and so look, I don't really care what we talk about. Just want to remind people, first off, the Ultimate Draft Kit is available. It is updated immediately. As soon as I shouted throughout the office, I got the alert, and it was Damian Williams is opting out, which we did. We got the update on the news. It's like it's so weird, this opt-out period, because these dudes are doing what they got to do for their health. Yep. And then it turned out like Damian Williams, like his mom, it was his
cancer.
Mom, was his mother, his mother's
stage 4 cancer.
Yeah, so like the dude's doing what he's got to do. Yeah, but we got to react to the news, and so it was exciting to be able to talk about Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Anyways, we updated that immediately in the Ultimate Draft Kit. That was really fun. Like, oh, this is a little bit normal for the UDK because it happens, and normally when these types of things happen, that movement, you're talking like someone had a really catastrophic training camp injury, which is also super unfortunate. But it was like, okay, we're moving, things are shaking, and we're updating things. So the Ultimate Draft Kit, it's available right now.
It's been pretty quiet since then. There have been more players come out, but mostly backups, a lot of backup offensive linemen. So maybe depth will play an issue this year. Look, I've got the first question picked out. Because I'm excited. I think it's both a good, legitimate question, and I want to talk about it. So, who's first?
Is it the question from Duncan that says Jason has been for sure working out?
Oh, man, for sure. When you get zoomed in this much, for sure I've been working out. Because I'm bulking up. I mean, you got to put on mass, Mike.
You're getting ready for that cut any day now.
So long as we can stay not profile, I don't want to turn to the side and show you the shape. I look good. These lats, my lats are fine.
Those are not your lats.
Nope, my traps.
Those are your traps. Yeah, hey. The lats are the wings.
Yeah, that's what I said. Traps. Carter Reed, Sanders, Eckler, Hopkins in a full PPR league.
All right.
This is a great question because I think if you're at the back of the first, early second, these are the three guys you're probably deciding between in a full PPR, right? You had Eckler last year with 100 receptions, PPR machine. Hopkins is always one of the best PPR options. And now you have the emergence of last year's rookie, Miles Sanders, a lot of hype train stuff coming out, the the running backs coach.
Mm-hmm.
Who's that? Deuce Staley? Is he the running backs coach?
Yeah, and he's just gassing up that fire.
He is. But I'll tell you.
It worked for you?
It worked for me for multiple reasons. It's our job to sift through hype and coach speak.
Right.
And so I did. I spent a lot of today kind of trying to say, is that coach speak or not? And spoiler alert, Monday's show, I'll be going into detail as to why I am madly in love with Miles Sanders, who is my pick here. But what say you, Mike?
It is Sanders for me.
Over Eckler?
Yeah, it's been that way for quite a few weeks now. Like I bumped Eckler down. He's still a running back 1 for me, and it was after they wanted Hyde, they didn't get him, so you got to adjust. You got to move forward, even if it's like it feels like you were correct in assuming that Peterson wanted to have more of a committee. He can't because look, like Boston Scott, he's a fine player. He's a limited running back though. Miles Sanders is not. He is an unlimited running back. And what's funny about this question is you were saying like at the back of the first. Sanders won't be sitting at the back of the first anymore. He is going to be just gallivanting his way up to like a top 6 pick.
Yeah, I mean, right now I updated him. He is my running back 9, so that puts him at the back of the first for me. And I feel like I'm hot and bothered. But when you really look at the
see where I got him,
when you look at the running backs that are above him, it's hard to make that move. I can see him very easily finishing top 5, meaning finishing above some of the guys ahead of him. But it would be difficult for me to draft him ahead of more known commodities. Can he finish ahead of Alvin Kamara? Absolutely. But Alvin Kamara is known. He's done it. He's on an offense where you have the knowledge and the expectation.
I have Miles at 11 right now.
Okay.
And that's where he's been for me for a long time. I haven't gotten infected by the.
Well, let's see if Monday if I can change your. And everybody needs to watch the show Monday because Monday is. Let's just say that show's fire. All right, next question. 37 Willie Dog? My eyes aren't good.
It's Dog.
Will Dog.
Wait, is that Willie Dog?
I see what I mean? In our screen, on our screen, it's very tiny. And L's and I's, they can all run together. So
it's actually
Dog.
Wee Dog.
Oh, sure. Yeah, it's a capital. All right. Does the McCoy signing ruin any value for Ronald Jones or Keyshawn Vaughn? This is a great question.
I will say this. Probably not. But it definitely should not just be thrown casually into the garbage. Especially like we had the experience with Bruce Arians of what happened with a 3rd-round rookie running back
who was awesome.
Everybody else was playing in front of. Yeah, no, the rookie turned into a league-winning running back in David Johnson, but it took injuries in front of him.
Chris Johnson was the former great, now mostly washed running back who was the starter. LaShawn McCoy used to be great and is, I think, completely washed. I mean, if you watched the Kansas City Chiefs play last year, you're like, why is Shady getting the ball? And then what happened was Andy Reid said, why is Shady getting the ball? And he just started benching him.
Yeah, I mean, he was inactive during the Super Bowl. That was the final thing we saw from Shady McCoy. When I watched him, I thought he still had something. Like he's going to get on I believe he'll be getting on the field, and he'll get touches so much that I scooped him up off our Dynasty waiver wire for $2 fab.
Ooh, man, that's how the mighty have fallen. LaShawn McCoy scooped off of the waivers for $2 in a 30-man league.
No one put the bid in but me.
Yeah.
So, but I think it's
a clear overpay, Mike.
Yeah, probably. Probably. Like it puts a damper on like the light that Jason was starting to shine and cast upon Ronald Jones. At least it creates at least a little bit of doubt.
Here's the thing with Shady. Is he going to get 50 carries next year? Absolutely. He's going to be on the field.
Probably.
50 is nothing. Is he going to get 50? Sure. Well, then those 50 are carries that Ronald Jones and Keyshawn Vaughn don't have.
Right.
However, what made me happy when I went in and took a look is I think that this is a very easy replacement of Dare Ogunbowale, who does suck. So it's not just Ronald Jones and Keyshawn Vaughn. Those two, Ogunbowale was on the field and involved, and now I think it's those two competing for that third running back spot on the roster.
Agreed.
All right. Let's see here. We've got a question from Facebook. Jack Harden. How much do injuries affect decision on early round picks?
Do we have any? Who are the early round guys?
Dalvin Cook is the first guy that comes to mind because
he's coming off an injury. Yeah,
I had a question earlier, and forgive me, the questions come in so hot and fast. I had it all queued up. I was like, "Oh, that's a good question," and then it just disappeared because these things are flying. And I had it like frozen, and it was staying for a while, and then the computer's like, "I can't handle this." But it was Alvin Kamara or Dalvin Cook at the 4 spot. Who do you draft? Okay. And this question adds to that because to me, while on a per game basis, Dalvin Cook was better than Alvin Kamara last year, should get more touches this year, has every opportunity to fully outscore him. The injury risk is high with Dalvin Cook. I've said this before. The holdout, let's say that's completely gone.
It's done. That's gone.
He's already, at camp getting tested for COVID. So
what's he going to show up to camp though? The holdout is in camp.
Well,
he just refuses to go in.
The only reason I still have that inkling in the back of my mind of like, well, maybe is because the first week is kind of the COVID testing where you can't come in later unless you've done it. So I didn't know if maybe when they get on the field next week and the week after, maybe that's when he holds out. But it's probably nothing. He would have just not gone in for the COVID testing. So Cook is not a holdout. I'm still drafting Alexander Mattison because Cook's shoulder problems and other body problems are, a risk. We've never really seen him stay healthy. And while Kamara had a high ankle sprain last year, he's also shown that, one, he doesn't get the workload that Dalvin Cook gets. So if they're equal injury risks as physical humans, then there's a lower injury risk for Alvin Kamara. And two, he's been on the field for full seasons before.
I am taking Dalvin Cook over Alvin Kamara, knowing I'm not getting 16. But whatever I get, let's say I get 10, let's say I get 12 games from Dalvin Cook, those games will be worth more to my team than what Alvin Kamara is doing. Maybe Kamara goes the whole 16 and I pay for it in the later rounds, but I'm with you that if I'm taking Dalvin Cook, I'm going to reach for Alexander Mattison. Look,
100%.
It's the cost of admission with Dalvin Cook, and I am willing to pay it. Maybe if you are not willing to pay that price, that you're setting a bench spot pretty much on fire.
Yeah,
for Alexander Mattison, which hopefully you never have to use him. That's optimal.
Now that Dalvin Cook is in training camp and there's not that worry, I think you'll get Alexander Mattison 100% of the time in round 9. I don't think anybody is drafting him round 8 or higher now that the holdout is over. So when you draft Dalvin Cook, you're using a first and a 9th rounder to draft the Minnesota backfield. Here's a great.
I saw a question real quick. I got to answer for Jason Lawhorn. Said, "Is that NBA Jam I see behind you?" Yes, it is. And let me just tell you this: NBA Jam, really any version of it, but I'll go with Tournament Edition because it is the greatest version of NBA Jam. You won't beat me. Greatest player of all time.
I can attest.
Just letting the people know.
I can attest that. Look, the footballers. I know we're good at fantasy football, and I don't want to come off braggadocious or egotistical.
Sometimes you got to just be factual,
right? I mean,
it's your greatness.
False humility is not humility, and I want to be.
It's not becoming for anybody.
I want to humbly say the ballers are great at everything, and when I watch us play blitz or NBA Jam or shuffleboard or foosball, we'll take on all comers, and we're not going to lose.
Yes.
Like maybe if we play 10 games, maybe you'll get one. maybe I got injured sitting down or something.
We're not perfect.
No,
Sometimes we're off our game.
We're far from perfect, but we're very competitive and great. I mean, just like really good at stuff. So,
really good, yes.
You just smashed. Who was it?
D'Angelo Williams.
D'Angelo Williams. It's like, I'll take you on. Nope.
Look, he thought he was good at NBA Jam. I had to let him know he's not.
I mean, he is, but there's a different threshold for the ballers. All right, so
look, he could be great.
He could be really great.
I don't know.
We don't know what the standard down there is.
I don't know what great is. I know what excellent is.
Thank you, Mike. So the question I had queued up and I clicked, I was like, this is a great question, was Flaming Hot Cheetos versus Jalapeno Cheetos. But the questions are flying in so fast. I got the wrong one, so we're getting both.
I'm not big into jalapeno flavor.
So here's the thing. I'm so glad I asked this question then, or someone asked it, and I'm calling it to the forefront. I am so with you. I don't like jalapeno flavors. I don't like stuffed jalapenos. I don't like jalapeno flavored things usually.
Right.
The jalapeno Cheetos are awesome. They are the right spice, and I take them over the Flaming Hot, even though both are great. You don't hear what I'm not saying. Okay, I'm not disparaging Flaming Hot Cheetos. They're great. But no, you got to try the jalapeno. It's weird because my wife is the same way. Neither one of us like it. We got like 3 bags, and they were all different. And then we tried it, and we're like, "Oh, this is excellent."
Over the quarantine, I have learned that the purple bag for Takis are top. These are S tier. These are
those super spicy.
They're very spicy, and they are the best tortilla chip snack. Whatever, like, is now my favorite. I will take it over everything.
I've not had them, but I fear the heat.
Man. Oh, they're so good.
All right, Matthew L. here. 2021 outlook: Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Swift, Taylor, Dobbins, Akers, the rookie running backs. Please rank them. Now, here's the thing, Mike. I'm going to give you 2 seconds to read them in order for not Dynasty, redraft this year, final season rankings, not who you'd even draft first. At the end of the year, they rank. Go.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Jonathan Taylor. Then I will go Akers, Swift, Dobbins.
I'm going to go Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Akers, Taylor, Swift, Dobbins.
You're in. So redraft, you will take the shot on Akers above what Jonathan Taylor could be.
Jonathan Taylor is better than Akers. Jonathan Taylor's offensive line is better. I think that Akers gets the job. Week 1, I'm starting to really change, and so year 2, next year's draft, 2021, I'm taking Jonathan Taylor when Marlon Mack is out of the way over Cam Akers. Give me both of their best seasons, and it's not close. It's going to be Jonathan Taylor, but opportunity matters, and I think that you could end up with Cam Akers getting 250 carries and 175 for Jonathan Taylor, and that's just, you got to be way better to make that ground up, especially with the passing game work. Cam Akers coming in with more passing chops, kind of. It's funny because you and I have talked about this. I don't know how much we talked on the podcast about Jonathan Taylor's receiving game, but he had a higher percentage of his team's targets than Clyde Edwards-Helaire had.
Yeah, his target share, which is insane. With Edwards-Helaire had 55 receptions. It's somehow the target share for Taylor. They were just force feeding him the ball. Now Taylor's not nearly as smooth as Edwards-Helaire. Like, he had quite a many drops. But
I will say this, man. When I watch the combine, that's we were always asked before the combine, what's the thing you look for? My favorite thing at the combine every single year is watching the running backs do the pass drills, do the receiving drills. And to me, I mean, obviously Edwards-Helaire crushed it, but I was like, Jonathan Taylor looks great at catching this ball. He looked smooth. He didn't look like Leonard Fournette. He looked like a fully capable pass catcher. That's what I see. I know he had some drops in college, but Keyshawn Vaughn had some drops in college, and he's still a good pass catcher as well. So, all right, let's go to another question here. I'm going to go look for a Twitch. Oh, no. I found one, but it's a stupid question.
I just saw that and I posted it to him to make sure that he would see it. Why
he
is producer? Look,
see this.
Stop. Look, producer Borland is.
He is awesome.
He is an awesome man. He is an awesome human being. He is very good at so many different things.
He's a great father. He's a great husband, a great friend, a terrible producer. Just the worst when it comes to producing our product. We're looking to upgrade, hopefully soon. No, he's phenomenal. You're looking at this production value at home, and you're like, how are they doing this? How can these guys who are independent and don't have some giant company behind them have a better video and audio product than everyone out there? Well, that's producer Borland. I want to take credit, but it's not me. It's the team. All right. I will never take another Twitter question as long as I live.
And we got my man Alex is just, I see it popping in over and over and over. He wants me to comment about the Antonio Gibson hype piece from today, and that's fine. I'm happy. I'm always happy to talk about Antonio Gibson. You didn't see the hype piece?
No, tell me.
It was talking about Antonio Gibson is learning multiple positions. He's not just learning the running back position, which is,
I don't know that that's a hype piece.
Well, okay. Give your perspective on it then. If you're hearing Antonio Gibson's learning multiple positions, that makes you feel what?
It makes me feel worried that they're going to put him at wide receiver because they have a need. They lost why can't I think of the name of the rookie that already went down to season-ending injury? Kelvin Harmon. Yes, I wanted to say have some candy, but I knew that was wrong.
Have some Antonio. Look, dude,
it's because of the Antonio Gibson that I'm like, man, is not it?
Yeah. I am not joking. Go because I finally got you to watch Antonio Gibson highlights, and you were like, oh, I guess this dude is at least interesting. Gandy Golden, small school. I will not argue that he against facts, but he's a really big guy, and when you watch him going up to get the ball for a contested catch, like he's got great body control for his size. I'm just saying he is very interesting to me.
It's funny because I am starting to be a little sizist against big wide receivers.
Oh no, you've gone to team small wide receiver?
Well, I look at the great wide receivers and the draft capital, and I look at the Arthega Whitesides and the Laquan Treadwells and
sure. I think even Doxson's like 6'2".
Exactly. All these big-bodied, super athletic guys. Now, if you are DK Metcalf, great. He had a phenomenal rookie season. He's a big body guy. But when you look around the league and say, okay, let's just look at all the great wide receivers. You have I'm talking over the last decade, not just right this second. You have AJ Green. You have Julio Jones and Calvin Johnson. These guys who are otherworldly athletes who are big body.
They're unicorns.
Freaks, but they're unicorns. And they're not going in the second round or the middle of the first round. These guys are going like, okay, should we take him number 1 in the NFL draft? Right. No, we need a quarterback. Okay, how far can they fall? And so outside of those truly crazy athletes, these really amazing athletes that are big-bodied, that's not who really wins in the NFL. It's great route runners who can separate, who have great work ethics. So I don't know. I find myself getting a little bit that way. All right, time for another question? Or you want to pose a question?
No, put another question up.
All right, let's see this. Reaction to Antonio Brown being suspended for 8 weeks by Kyle Johnston. It's the weirdest situation where a suspension has been levied, which means now we think a player will play. You know what I mean? Like, this is really good news for Antonio Brown, which is weird because it's bad news.
Well, honestly, like I had gotten to the point where it was, I know he did his whole nonsense retirement speech like a week ago.
Several times.
I had already gotten to the point of AB's coming back. He's going to play for somebody. And then you had the news with what Harbaugh was saying, like, I don't think we can even sign him yet. And it was, the NFL is in the midst of an investigation then. And they're saying, no one sign him. We're going to figure this out because, look, AB deserved to be suspended. I don't want to get into all that stuff, but
yeah, we won't.
Now that the penalty is handed down, a team can say, okay, we know what it is. Well, mostly, like there was the little caveat of he can be suspended for longer should other things arise.
And the reason they're saying that is because he has a civil suit concerning the major off-field issue that is going down on September 15th. So should that civil suit bring new things to life or have some kind of heavy conviction, the NFL is already saying we could make this longer. But right now it's 8 games. I like that they did that because it at least lets NFL teams know what the presumed risk is.
It's like Kareem Hunt.
Mm-hmm.
Like as soon as the 8 games came in, Kareem Hunt found a team very quickly after that because a team knew what they had to deal with.
But here's something really weird. I don't know if this is common.
I'm not being rude. I'm ordering pizza, Jason.
Oh, please do. That's not being rude. That's improving.
I know. I
told
life. You I'm not being rude. I'm getting pizza.
Okay, I need to know where and what's on it.
So right now, I think I've landed on streets of New York.
Okay. I don't think that's national, but maybe it is.
It's not. It's definitely an Arizona
delicious
thing. Well, I mean, it's New York. Apparently, right. It's the streets of New York, but it's a New York style pizza.
And toppings, you're going cheese for the kids, and
that's the problem. Is the kids hold me down, man?
Yeah, stupid little ones.
And like, I want to get half pepperoni, but now I cut off half the pizza that they don't want to eat, and they're not willing to pick the pepperonis
off.
How
can they not be willing to pick the peps? You just pick the peps.
Yeah, but you pick them and put them in your mouth because they're delicious, man.
You
pepperoni
pick them up.
That's what you elite.
Do. Is every
I've done that move.
You tell them you ordered a whole cheese, but you played everybody. What do you want? You want cheese? All right, pop them in your mouth. The only other thing.
Take over.
Sure. The only other thing I would add to the Antonio Brown thing is apparently, according to Tom Pelissero, the suspension starts week 1. Seemingly no matter what. So if he's unsigned come week 9, then he's good to go. I think some teams will probably wait until September 15th. That would be into the season. Find out how that civil case goes. My only hope is that he does not go to the Ravens because I love Hollywood Brown.
By far the most smoke too.
Yeah, that's no good.
All right. Yeah. Go next question.
Let's see here. Next question. Let me see if I can find a player we haven't really talked a lot about. I can't, so I'm closing my eyes. This is dangerous. I'm going to click one. What did I get? I got Matt Jones' keeper question in a full PPR. Are Zeke for a first or Godwin for a 5th? Great question. Obviously, when you're talking about Zeke, Christian McCaffrey, and Saquon, those presumed top 3
Zeke
backs.
Is your number 3 pick, I assume, right?
He is right now. But I'm happy with any one of those guys. You have to pay the piper when you want to own one of those players. You have to, it's like they're worth their first-round pick. They're worth giving that up. But the value is obviously better on Godwin in a 5th. You can draft Zeke in a 1st. You can't draft Godwin in a 5th. So the way that I look at this is you replace the players and say, okay, would you rather have Zeke and, who's a wide receiver going in the 5th round? Can you get Robert Woods?
Do, man. Auto 5th round pick, DJ Chark.
Sure, DJ Chark. So would you rather have
he's there, but
Zeke and DJ Chark or Robert Woods? Or would you rather have Godwin and, say, Kenyan Drake as a first rounder or Miles Sanders? So which side would you rather have?
I'm taking Godwin for the 5th. It's a PPR league.
Full PPR, yeah. It's close to me.
Where is Godwin going? Is he a 3rd rounder or is he a 4th?
Let me look that up. We'll look up some best ball ADP so that we know.
I would assume he's a 3rd.
You would assume that he is a 3rd rounder for Godwin. He's going at pick 20 So he is not a third rounder.
He's in fact a second
rounder. So yeah,
I'm taking the value.
The value's there. All right, you got a unanimous. It's Godwin there. Let's see here. Ryan Downing. Do you think Devonta Freeman will be signed before the start of the season? I know my answer.
I would say my probability is above 50% because someone's going to get hurt, and Devonta Freeman. That's how he's getting a job. He's not getting a starting job.
He's not getting a starting job if someone gets hurt. It's a matter of...
I'm saying it's like he would go into a committee.
Yeah, to me, it's a matter of, is he willing to take a flat-out backup job? I don't think he is willing, and I don't think any teams watched what Freeman did last year and go, we need Freeman.
We got to get over the top.
Tippy top. This is the guy. So I don't think he signs before the season. He did fire his agent fired him.
Oh, was that what happened?
Yeah, his agent let him go because he had some contract offers, right? Didn't he have one from he had one from Seattle.
Seattle. Yeah, he was offered a contract before Hyde. We don't know the details, but
yeah, and so
it was not good enough for Devonta Freeman.
Right, but it was clearly good enough for Devonta Freeman's agent, who knows the temperature and the value of the player and goes, "You should take this." And he's like,
right.
"I'm not taking that. I'm worth more. Team, I want to play more." Whatever the issue was,
and he's like,
and that agent's like, "Okay, I'm not ever going to get you what you want."
This deal.
You're never getting what you want because nobody wants to give you what you want. So instead of wasting my time, I am out of here. Oh, we got a Periscope question here from good friend of the show, Tyler Gunther. Full PPR.
What's up, dude?
Which wide receiver did you tell me to keep? Hill or Julio? Was this a different line? Oh, this is from
he was DMing us about this.
Yes.
And now he needs it on air?
Yeah, apparently we've answered this once.
Look,
if I could I need to make
keeping Hill over Julio
in a full PPR.
For me, stop. Nothing. Don't even tell me the scoring format. It could be
You're saying it's always Julio. I'm going to go Hill here.
Point per Tyreek Hill is your name league, and I'm still going to take Julio Jones.
Yeah, I'm going to tell him Tyreek Hill just so he still doesn't have clarity. We answered once. If you don't remember, this is that. Now it's on you.
It's on you, man.
It's on you. All right. Question from YouTube. Tube user. Why is Drake not ranked higher? Like the running back 4 to 7 and 8 rather than the current 8 to 12 range.
That's on me, man.
Is it?
I have a Kenyan Drake problem. In my projections, I have Kenyan Drake at 14, and it's too low. But
you have him at 14,
dude. Hey, and I don't know what to do about it.
I don't have any problem with that. I mean, the range of outcomes for
I don't want him there, but he's there, and like I guess like maybe Nick. So here's the guys in front of him: Nick Chubb. When it comes down to it, am I really taking Nick Chubb over Kenyan Drake? I think I would go Drake. Then I have Eckler. We have a disagreement, and that's fine. But then Sanders, Josh Jacobs, Aaron Jones, Joe Mixon. Like, who do you hit? So where is Drake for you?
So here's a cool thing.
Which guys?
Here's a cool thing. We have new player profiles coming out really soon, hopefully next week. They're awesome. Yes. We can use them. You can't because we're building them right now. And so on this profile, I could see where Andy has him at 10. Mike, you've got him at 14. I've got him at number 7. So this
I'm weighing him down.
You are weighing him down. Here's how I've got him. The 6 running backs I have ahead of him are CMC, Zeke, and Barkley, obviously. Then it's Alvin Kamara, Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Once those guys are out of the way, Kenyan Drake is the next man up to me. I don't have worries over the market share, the committee, the split. I have no worries. I think it is a full go for Kenyan Drake. They paid him. They shipped DJ out. Last year was a full go for him whenever he was on the team. The pace that the Cardinals play at does not help to sub running backs in and out of the game and say, sure. That's why your favorite stat about if you take whoever was the running back 1 for the Cardinals that week and you just give the team scores, that the Arizona Cardinals' number one running back was the running back 3 on the season. The reason is because whoever it is, when it was Chase Edmonds and we thought it was going to be David Johnson, but the coach went with Chase, he went with Chase. It was a full go because they play at such a pace where they got to stay on the field and just fly down the field. So Kenyan Drake to me is locked in as a great option. I have him very.
Do you believe in your heart of hearts that he's really going to hit the range of like 230, 240 carries? That's because that's what he's pacing. That's what he paced for as an Arizona Cardinal.
I have him at 224 rushing attempts. So not the 240, not that pace, but 224 rushing attempts, 77 targets, and with what I think he can do in this offense, that puts him at the running back 7. So there you go. That's the discussion.
How many rushing touchdowns you got him for?
Let me go back. I have Kenyan Drake for 9 rushing touchdowns, 3 receiving touchdowns. So 12 touchdowns is certainly
I have him so close. I have him so close to what you've projected for him. If you I have him at 203 on the carry count.
That's a pretty big difference. I'll bet you bump that up to 224 like I have, and he's going to go up.
He probably will jump up to like running back 8. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Next question here. I'll say this. Let me just let everybody know. I'm going to try to avoid Clyde Edwards-Helaire questions. I probably can't because it looks like that's every other question. But if you want, you talk about it.
Know.
Yeah, but the live stream you did yesterday and the main show we put out, we have really dove deep into Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Also, if you're in the Ultimate Draft Kit, we put out a new video breakdown of Clyde Edwards-Helaire post the Damian Williams news. The short of it is he good. He's going to be around that running back 6. He's pretty much a lock for a running back, a top 10. It's the perfect situation. It's everything you look for in fantasy. All right, here's a new question from Mike D. Thomas, Monty, and Singletary, or Evans, Mixon, Dobbins in a dynasty league.
Okay. So Michael Thomas, who's basically the number one.
He's my number 1 in
dynasty asset right now. Montgomery, Singletary. Okay.
So you got kind of weak running backs, but 2 of them. So some depth. And Michael Thomas.
Basically the number 1 guy. I'm taking. Give me the Evans side. Evans, Mixon, and Dobbins.
So obviously Mixon and Dobbins, greater sign. David Montgomery and Devin Singletary. Obviously Michael Thomas, greater sign. Mike Evans in a dynasty format. I'm actually going to take the Michael Thomas side.
Oh, you just want the best guy?
I want the best guy. I didn't do this, but I had it written in our show doc for Monday. We're doing kind of a fire and ice, who's hot, who's cold. And my original player I wrote in for ice was Joe Mixon. I have some fears. I have some major fears
the same
with Joe
way.
Mixon.
You have your guys ranked. You have your top 10 guys, but then you just know if you play fantasy football long enough, a couple of these guys are not going to pan out. They're just going to flat out bust. And it's easy for me, and we can talk about this because Andy's not around. Easy for me of my top 10 running backs. Who's going to bust? Joe Mixon. Easy. I can say that. He is the one I'm by far the most nervous about. I get it. They got it together the second half of the year. The first half of the year still exists. It still happened.
It's great.
And he was droppable. People were asking, do I drop Joe Mixon?
People were dropping him left and right. He was like the running back 50 through the first half of the season. His 16, I know this because I was prepping for my anti-Joe Mixon argument, which I'll tell you why I gave it up if you want. But when I was prepping for that, his 16-game pace for the first half of the season was a combined rushing and receiving total of like 900 yards. But then
900 yards from scrimmage.
Yes, rushing and receiving, with
right.
exactly 0 rushing touchdowns. So it was horrific. But then,
so his 16-game pace when he scored 0 touchdowns was 0 touchdowns.
But then the second half, he was basically like an 1,800-yard pace and a completely different player.
Yeah.
I think that, if you look at the beginning of the year and what they wanted to do, how much they were running 11 personnel despite wide receiver injuries and things like that, I don't think Zach Taylor's a great coach. I don't. I don't think he made some great adjustment. I think they knew they were going after that number 1 pick, and they just kept giving the ball to their best player over and over and over. When they were down big, they would just hand it off to Mixon, and that was helpful. So he worries me because he doesn't have the pass catching work last
volume.
year.
Yeah. I mean, he should, but
he can do it. He's talented in that way. Let's see here. I don't know if you can answer this. I can't answer this question. Sean Hagstrom, Lawrence of Arabia or Bridge on the River Kwai?
I've
seen
know.
neither. Okay.
I've seen Lawrence of Arabia is supposed to be this cinematic masterpiece. I think there was, if my trivia is accurate, there was something about they literally had to invent a new camera lens for just this movie. But dude, look, get old movies out of my face. Citizen Kane, get it, throw it on the ground.
Just
I don't need it. I get it. It was made a long time ago, and when they made it 80 years ago,
it was amazing.
Look, do you understand that there was a time when people had fire and they were like, "This is really impressive. We've got fire." Then someone made a wheel. And they're like, "Holy crap! Have you seen this thing? It's no edges. It rolls. We can put stuff on it." And people were thrilled with the fire and the wheel. Yeah, and I'm like,
"Who cares?"
So
I was a theater major. I grew up doing theater. Went to college. And trust me, Citizen Kane. I'm going to get yelled at by everyone and their mother. That movie holds up. It is a masterpiece. It is great. If that movie came out now, I mean, not specifically now because no movies can perform, but if that movie came out 2 years ago, it will make $1,000 and nobody will see it, and it will get a Rotten Tomato score of 40 at best. All right, next question. This is a great question. I mean, these are league winners the last 2 years. GPAT 24 wants to know, who's this year's Lamar Jackson, a late round stud quarterback? You missed out on Lamar Jackson and Mahomes the last 2 years. So who is the great late round guy? Now, a lot of comparisons have been made to what Mahomes did and then to what Lamar Jackson did to what Kyler Murray can do. But the big difference here is that Lamar Jackson was a late round pick last year. Baker was the guy that was expected to make that and going in the Kyler range, that 5th round pick.
Mm-hmm.
Kyler's too expensive. If Kyler hits and is that next great option, he's not going to give you what Lamar Jackson or Pat Mahomes did because of what he cost you. So who is the late round guy who can do it? I have a surprising answer for you.
So I'm going through my rankings. My first answer is the king. Is King Godfrey. Is Jared Goff, who once they figured out the offense, 5-game, small sample, but in that sample, Jason, Jared Goff was on pace to hit 5,000 passing yards and 30-something touchdowns. He was Goff, when the system is right for Jared Goff, he can execute. He's not, I don't think Jared Goff is an elite guy, but I think Sean McVay is an elite coach with an elite offense, and he lost his way. Maybe, I don't know if it was the Super Bowl just crushed his confidence, and then I think it was far more of a Todd Gurley problem than people realize. Yeah. And Jared Goff, once they figured it out, Jared Goff was ready to go, and he was the player I thought he was going to be the entire season. And Jared Goff is very, very late. So he's my first answer. Who do you got?
So my first answer, and this is not my expectation, I mean, nobody's, certainly not nobody. Plenty of people loved Lamar Jackson last year, but it wasn't the expectation of most people that he was going to explode. So my expectation is not, I've got this guy ranked as my quarterback 18. He's being drafted as the quarterback 20. But if you say who could really shock the world, be a late round quarterback who is unbelievably good and just destroys for fantasy, to me, it's Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, as a rookie, I know rookies throw for less. They throw for fewer yards.
That's hot. I mean, Cam did it.
Right.
Like 14 rushing touchdowns.
Right, yeah. Well, that's part of it, right? If you actually look at number one overall picks who start week one and play the whole season, for fantasy football, they are usually very good, like usually top 10. Andrew Luck was, Jameis Winston was, Cam Newton was, pretty much all of them that are in that situation, they end up good for fantasy. And the nice thing with Joe Burrow, because he was such a great passer this last year, it just pinpoint accurate, every part of the field, played with defenses, it takes away from people realizing what a great rusher he was. He's going to scramble all the time. It reminds me of, Andrew Luck when he was a rookie. He would have that 400-yard baseline.
Yeah, Andrew Luck, you don't think of him running, but he did. He ran quite a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I don't know. I think if you want to take the shot of crazy upside, I wanted to pull up. Part of the reason I didn't want Joe Mixon is because I remember the schedule was supposed to be super easy over the beginning part of the year, and I didn't want to throw shade on a guy who gets off to a really hot start. So I sound real stupid. But here's Joe Burrow's opening schedule.
Okay.
The first week is the Los Angeles Chargers. I don't love that. No. I think they're going to have a very good defense this season. Then the Cleveland Browns, pretty good defense. The pass rush, Myles Garrett.
Yeah, and Myles Garrett's back.
And then Philadelphia Eagles and the Jacksonville Jaguars. So, it's not that bad. It's not the end of the world. It's not the best schedule imaginable. Basically, it doesn't mean anything to me. Looking at those four, I'm fine if you want to take that shot for upside.
Oh. You should remind people about the UDK and then find us just an absolute banger question to get out of here.
All right.
On this one. I think we've been here for like almost an hour.
Have we really?
Yeah.
It's been like 3 minutes. Well, then why don't you remind people about the UDK while I look for a banger question?
You find the.
How could I do both?
Because I wanted to sit here and do nothing.
All right.
While you did all the work. The Ultimate Draft Kit is it's here. The whole point of this week, we live streamed every single day. We're trying to get hyped for football. We're trying to get that engine going. We all had it. We all had the feeling inside of what does it look like if football doesn't exist. But look, it's all systems go right now for the NFL. So we are getting things prepared. The Ultimate Draft Kit is still being updated. It's been available since June 1st. It's new and improved on the web. The app experience is incredible. We use this thing all the time. All of our live drafts, we fire this thing up on our iPad, mark our players, mark them as drafted. You can do all of that in the Ultimate Draft Kit. We just did a huge audit of our sleepers, breakouts, busts, and values. So we're always working on this thing. So ultimatedraftkit.com. If you don't have it, get it together, man. Just go pick it up.
All right.
and just soak up the greatness of the UDK.
It is great. It is objectively great. I mean, it's
excellent. We don't know great, Jason. We only know excellent.
It is objectively excellent. I mean, it's proven third-party surveys to be like the number one tool that people had in championships, and also we use it. I use it. It's
right.
I love it. I did drafts before it. I've done drafts after it. I'm all in. All right. So this is a question with two huge name players that we haven't really talked too much about. So we're gonna finish with this one. Wyatt has a question: Odell Beckham Jr. or Juju Smith-Schuster, who is more likely to bounce back?
This is many layers deep because the bounce back of the player also involves the bounce back of the quarterback, two different stories. Baker was bad, was just Baker Mayfield was bad for football and bad for fantasy purposes. Big Ben is old, had an elbow surgery, and like he has to recover from it. You can't argue against he has to heal. He has to be ready. And then on top of that, both of these wide receivers were hurt. Mm-hmm. Odell Beckham had the core injury. I brought him up on the live stream with Andy yesterday of looking at Matt Harmon's reception perception, which all that data is exclusive to the Ultimate Draft Kit. His write-up of Beckham, he said immediately when I was watching Beckham, I could tell that something was wrong with him. I didn't even have to look at the numbers. I could watch the player and say, this is not the player I've been charting for years, seeing how does he separate, because Odell Beckham has always been an elite separator. And then Juju, he had to deal with trash quarterbacks. He got hurt. He did absolutely nothing. Even though I have Juju ranked higher, more likely to bounce back to me is Odell Beckham. I have seen him be an alpha wide receiver many times by himself. That question still has to be answered for Juju. Can he be the guy? Like, we didn't get to see that answer. I thought he could be the guy, but we still don't have a definitive answer upon that. And I think that the new offensive system, where you put the emphasis on protecting Odell Beckham, Baker Mayfield, you revamp the offensive line, you simplify things, and on top of that, is Jarvis Landry going to be ready week 1? Like, and if he's not, who's the wide receiver 2 that's really challenging Odell Beckham for targets over those first few games? So for me, it's OBJ.
Yeah, you laid it out very well. I think both players have the ability to bounce back. But if I have to say who has the higher odds, it is Odell Beckham, because if I say, okay, which quarterback has the easier path to bouncing back, Big Ben or Baker Mayfield? Well, Big Ben is on a very rough timeline for his injury, according to baseball. I mean, we don't have a lot of example in football for this injury, a ton of historical data in baseball, and he's pushing that timeline if he's going to be ready for week 1. And if Big Ben is not ready, then Juju is irrelevant. So there's 2 variables there. I think there's 1 variable. I do believe that the surgery Odell Beckham got is going to make him be the OBJ we've seen since his rookie year. It's just, can Baker take that step forward? I believe he can.
And it's my evidence for Baker is, I guess it's a bit of a narrative, but like, we have really, he had 3 years at Oklahoma. He had his rookie year. So, and 4 out of 5 years that Baker Mayfield has been like the guy. I mean, I know he played a lot at Texas Tech, but Oklahoma in the pros, 4 out of 5 years, Baker Mayfield was great. He was great.
There's a reason he was the number 1 draft pick in the NFL.
When he was coming out of college that year, he was by far the best quarterback in the draft. And the Browns, I still think, got it right. I know it feels wrong. It feels bad right now because Baker was so bad last year. But I believe that he can bounce back, man. I'm still in on Baker.
Well, there we go. We're wrapping it up. A week of live streams every single day. Don't forget about the UDK. Grab it at ultimatedraftkit.com and make sure you're subscribing on all of our social channels. Wherever you're watching right now, turn your notifications on, because we're set up now this year to do more live streams.
Look at this. This is incredible.
This is incredible. Just incredible.
Incredible.
Good job, producers. Thanks for playing with us, and enjoy your weekend, or when you're watching this later on YouTube, whenever it is. Have a good one.